But I've been living rent-free in his head for the last however many years, and he's obviously taken agreements with me. That's on him, that's not on me. Like I say, I'm not a hater.
A lot of fans are asking me about John Fury, saying, is it staged? Is this real? I'll be totally straight with you. This is real. As far as I'm concerned, when somebody starts running the mouth and threatening me, I take it very seriously. This is not staged. This is not a pantomime, as much as it could look like one if I end up in the ring with it.
What's going through your mind? Why do you think he's done this bet?
Can't believe how lucky we are, you know, and thanks Saudi again for having us here. It's just getting better and better here in Saudi Arabia. I want to come back. I want to do business here and nowhere else in the world. Here's where it's at. They're great people. They treat people with ultimate respect, no matter who they are. You know,
Don't know why, but for whatever his reason, that's up to him.
Okay.
Breaking news. Duke McKenzie warns Carl Froch that taking on John Fury at 48 could backfire. He stresses that age is a serious factor, and fans might unfairly label Froch a coward if the fight happens. The veteran's caution sets the tone for a heated debate.
No, it's never been staged. You can't stage that sort of thing. He's done it before, and he'll do it again. So long as his son's fighting, you know that when there's a press conference, the first person through that door isn't Tyson Fury, it's John Fury. And like I say, he's always got a point to prove. He's always got something to say. Yesterday just happened to be against Carl Froch.
Duke McKenzie highlights the circus-like hype that surrounds John Fury whenever he fights. He insists that Carl Froch shouldn't feel disappointed, stressing that the promotion grabs attention but doesn't test Froch's skill or tarnish his legacy in any way. Froch remains focused and in control above all the noise.
Oh, who knows? You know, they're great at self-promoting, aren't they? And, you know, listen, you've heard it all before. You've seen it all before. When Tyson Fury fights, the whole circus comes to town and everybody just jumps on board and says the first thing that comes into their head. So it is what it is. Like I said, I don't think Froch should be disappointed with that one bit. You're not, certainly. You know, so is it good for the sport? If they're promoting the fight. Simple as that. They just promote.
Carl Froch is setting the record straight, calmly pointing out that his opponent has never faced a true professional boxer. He dismisses the trash talk, emphasizing that claims of choking him out are meaningless because Froch has faced tougher challenges and remains unshaken, showing his experience and composure.
I big myself up too much, so he's never stepped into the ring, which is what I'm trying to get at, with a real professional boxer. Ever. And recently he's been running his mouth saying, if you got me in a ring, a boxing ring, UFC ring, the only ring I'd be getting in is a boxing ring. He said he'd choke me out, so maybe when he sees me he's talking about choking me out. But let's just be clear about this, he won't be choking out anybody.
Big John Fury didn't hold back, boasting loudly about his 200 years of knowledge and claiming nobody can compete with him. It's classic overconfidence. But talk alone won't stop Carl Froch. Froch's precision, experience, and composure make him the real threat, exposing Fury's bluster as hype over skill.
You know what I'm saying? I've been around the gyms all my life. I've come off 200 years of knowledge in my head. These people can't compete with John Fury, and you'll see it on the 26th.
Carl Froch is calling out the nonsense, stressing that chasing easy crossover fights may earn cash but damages respect and legacy. Fans notice, and it hurts the sport. Froch is reminding everyone that real champions fight for pride and honor, not just a payday, proving why he's the true professional.
It's going to be a waste if you keep fighting these crossover fights. All right, you're taking the money, that's great. But when your career's over and you've finished, you want your legacy to be intact. You want that respect, and you're killing off the fans. The fans are turning against you. You can see it with the comments on all your videos and the stuff you say. You can see that they're turning against you, and it's sad to see. I don't mind you giving me a stick. You're having a bit of a go back, you're defending yourself, you're on your back foot, and deep down I think you know you're hurting the sport, and I think you know that actually what you're doing is bad for the game. You're taking the money instead of being full of pride for the sport, I think.
Joe Egon doesn't mince words, labeling John Fury a bully while praising Carl Froch's Hall of Fame credentials. Froch's record speaks for itself. He's taken down top-tier opponents, and facing a loud-mouthed Fury will be another demonstration of skill and class versus empty bravado.
I watched Carl Froch getting knocked down by George Groves. He was gone. Carl Froch has an incredible will to win. The fights that he's had with the great champions, and he's come out of the sport intact. For John Fury to be calling out Carl Froch on his opinion. Because Carl Froch is entitled to give his opinion in boxing. If you can't have freedom of speech, what was the point in these men and women dying in the world wars, giving their lives in vain?
What do you think would actually happen if John Fury and Carl Froch, as he is,
Carl Froch could stand there and say to John, I'll give you 2 free shots, John. Hit me with your right hand and hit me with your left hand.
Johnny Nelson points out that Carl Froch is a cut above when it comes to ring IQ and execution. While John Fury may hype the fight and stir excitement, it's Froch who brings real danger. Nelson emphasizes that Fury's theatrics might entertain, but Froch's skill and power can literally dominate the fight, showing why Froch is respected globally and why Fury's bluster could get exposed.
Share Froch on fighting, because I'm quite sure Carl's going to rip the life out of John after today. I think John did the job. John did the job and got the excitement going, got people talking. That's exactly what he did.
Eddie Hearn highlights Carl Froch's confidence and ability to expose John Fury's empty talk. While Fury tries to intimidate, Froch calmly analyzes and dominates the discussion, proving he's prepared physically and mentally. Hearn underlines Froch's focus on real fighting, unlike Fury, who relies on theatrics. Froch's discipline and skill make him a clear threat.
Yeah, you cracked a little laughing. What was all that about? Yeah. What was so funny about that? Why didn't you stay? Why didn't you say there? Why didn't you step in and say, "Hang on a minute"?
I went
Froch in a boxing match.
even told him I think he'd knock you out, like personally.
What? To try and build it?
I'd love the fight though, wouldn't it? I mean, like you got Tony Bellew over there. He's going, do you know what? I could beat that Bridgerweight. Like I watch you on the bag sometimes, right? You, in my opinion,
Bellew coming back.
He said, like I just feel like a fight comes up. You know what it's like. You've looked at it before, and like, you know, but.
Gareth Davies reflects on John Fury's overprotective nature, revealing that much of his bravado stems from defending his sons. This exposes the contrast with Carl Froch, who fights purely for sport, legacy, and pride. Froch's experience and measured approach make him far more dangerous, as he isn't driven by ego or family theatrics, but by the craft of boxing and professionalism.
What John does, he's very, very, very passionate around his sons when they're fighting, and it gets something out of him. I spoke to him, right, literally face to face, and I said, well, you know, what is upset? He said, I don't want people calling me out because I'll take any man on. Yeah. You know the comments. Yeah. My guy came.
Lame Goff illustrates John Fury's reckless approach, charging at Froch with aggression but little technique. Froch, in contrast, remains composed, proving why skill always triumphs over brute force. Fury's history of being iron out in the ring shows he's vulnerable, and Goff underscores that Froch's calculated style and precision make him far superior despite Fury's loud antics.
He went and tried to approach Carl Froch, screaming all these things at him. You know, the fighting man, you know, John Fury, 100-0 on the hard road, in spite of the fact he's been ironed out in the boxing ring plenty of times, including by non-punchers like Henry Akin one day, and it's all there for the people to see. He was going in on Carl Froch.
Adam Smith notes that while John Fury reacts aggressively to Froch's criticism, Froch approaches it professionally. Froch isn't looking for chaos, he's highlighting issues and setting boundaries. The commentary shows Froch's maturity and intelligence versus Fury's impulsive nature. Froch remains in control, proving he's a true fighter even outside the ring.
Carl having a go at the Furies, probably over his time on his channel, maybe, I'm guessing, and John didn't like that and wants to have a fight with him, something like that.
It was something like that. I don't think he was still necessarily turning down a fight.
What I do know is that John Fury and Carl Froch on the cobbles will be fun. I think they're both.
Liam Goff paints a picture of the clash between ego and experience. John Fury throws out his usual any-man, any-time bravado, hinging the challenge on money, showcasing his focus on theatrics over the sport. Carl Froch, by contrast, maintains control and integrity. He turns the situation into a charitable opportunity, highlighting his professionalism and maturity. Froch's willingness to step in, even under hype and pressure, demonstrates why he is revered in boxing. This is more than talk, it's a display of intelligence, showing that Froch fights for respect, legacy, and the fans, while John Fury relies on bluster, hype, and ego, which can never substitute real skill in the ring.
John Fury was doing that and goading Carl Froch, and I know John Fury doesn't like Carl Froch. Carl Froch mentions him, although I haven't really watched much of Carl Froch's videos lately. Carl Froch, I know, has mentioned John Fury in the past. He's had a go with John Fury. They actually talked about having an actual, was it an exhibition or a boxing type match? And John Fury, any man, any time, was saying words to the effect of, "Oh, I'll fight you, Carl Froch, but the money has to be right." And Carl Froch basically said, "All right, well, if we arrange payment, it can go to charity."
Ade Oladipo captures John Fury's impulsive and chaotic energy, lunging at Cole Froch with aggression. It's the same pattern we've seen throughout his career: intimidation and theatrics over calculated skill. Carl Froch, on the other hand, stays level-headed and strategic, never falling for the bait. This moment highlights the contrast between raw bluster and genuine professionalism. While Fury seeks attention through confrontation, Froch maintains his focus on what matters most: the sport, the fans, and his legacy. Ade's observation makes it clear that Froch's calm intelligence will always overshadow Fury's unpredictable antics, proving once again that composure and skill triumph over noise and aggression every time.
I mean, John Fury looked like he was trying to fight Carl Froch. Obviously, Carl has said a few things about John Fury over the last few months, and John Fury, being John Fury, went straight for him. I'm not quite sure what he was going to do if he got to him, but I guess that was the entertainment from the press conference.
Carl Froch steps up with unmatched confidence and clarity, identifying John Fury for what he truly is: a bully and a loudmouth undermining professional boxing. Froch doesn't just talk. He lays out a precise plan and asserts that he will handle Fury decisively in the ring. His words reflect both his skill and his moral stance, defending the integrity of the sport. While Fury thrives on theatrics and intimidation, Froch relies on strategy, precision, and experience. Every statement he makes reinforces his superiority, both mentally and physically, highlighting why he is considered a legend. Fans can see that Froch isn't playing games. He's ready to enforce respect and show that real professionals dominate where talkers fail.
I feel like I might be the chosen one. I feel like it might be my job to finally shut this big gobshite up. All he does is run around, running his mouth, beating his chest, the ultimate man and all that bollocks. So John, for one final time, listen to me so it goes into that thick skull. I accept your challenge, but know one thing. When that first bell goes, I'm going to come over to your corner and absolutely stick it on you, Cobra style, and set about you and make a mess of you. You know why? Because you're a bully and you need putting in your place. You're a bully and you're making a mockery of this.
Pain Games commentary exposes John Fury's over-the-top, almost absurd bravado. While Fury flaunts and embarrasses himself publicly, Carl Froch continues to maintain focus, discipline, and professionalism. Fury's antics may generate laughs or attention, but they do nothing to prepare him for the skill and strategy Froch brings. This clip reinforces the glaring contrast between a man who relies on ego and noise versus a champion who relies on mastery, technique, and composure. Froch's mental toughness makes him far more dangerous, showing fans why reputation and results always outweigh empty theatrics.
Father of the king of the world. I think he's referring to Tyson Fury. You know, when you have kids, most people, when they want to talk about their children, they might pull their mobile phone out and show a few pictures. Big John just shows you his balls. That's where they came from. If there's anyone who needs a Manscaped advert, it's fucking John Fury.
Eddie Hearn makes it clear: Carl Froch's skill cannot be underestimated, even against a larger, aggressive opponent like John Fury. While Fury may try to rough him up or bend the rules, Froch's technique, timing, and mental preparation give him the upper hand. Hearn's insight underscores the inevitability. Size and brute force can't match the refined experience of a Hall of Famer like Froch. This isn't just hype. Froch is methodical, calculating, and ready to turn Fury's aggression against him, proving once again why he is respected by trainers, promoters, and fans alike.
I would never back against Carl Froch on the cobbles. Ever. But John Fury's a big old lump. There'll be some illegal moves in there. Do you know what I mean? But if they ever get close, Carl will be swinging. Do you know what I mean?
John Fury showcases his raw, unorthodox training style, painting himself as a rugged, self-sufficient fighter. However, Froch's commentary and career highlight the futility of relying purely on brute toughness. Froch's preparation is scientific, disciplined, and proven at the highest level, meaning Fury's gypsy-style bravado is entertaining but unlikely to succeed. This clip perfectly contrasts instinctive aggression with refined skill, showing why Froch is the calculating professional and Fury remains the loudmouth, emphasizing that real victories come from experience and strategy, not just heart and theatrics.
Another running video this morning, but not just a running video. I'm going to be the first man to fight a 3-time Hall of Famer or just doing it myself. John Fury style. Running, bare knuckle, heavy bag, eating, living in the woods, chopping trees, eating the filth of the earth. I'm doing it gypsy style. I'm going to prove to everybody out there where there's a will.
The stage is set and tension has never been higher. Carl Froch stands as the embodiment of professionalism, experience, and calculated aggression. Every press conference, every comment, every calculated move has shown that he is not just fighting for glory, but to uphold the integrity of boxing. John Fury may have the size, the bluster, and the theatrical antics, but all of that cannot match the precision, timing, and mental strength of a Hall of Famer like Froch. If Carl Froch wins, it will not just be a victory in the ring, but a statement that skill, strategy, and discipline always triumph over noise and ego. The fans will see a masterclass in technique and composure, and Froch's legacy will be further cemented as one of the greatest to ever lace up gloves. On the other hand, if John Fury somehow shocks the world, it will be one of the most talked about moments in boxing history, a true upset fueled by raw courage and determination. But the smart money, the professionals, and anyone who respects the sport knows where their loyalty lies. Quick question: whose side are you on? Don't just watch, join the debate in the comments, and let us know how you see this showdown unfolding.